I'm back with another true crime reaction video. This one is from JCS Criminal Psychology, and it's the bizarre case of Stephen McDaniel. Let's get it.
Forensic health professionals evaluate stalking. 4 essential items are taken into consideration: the nature of the relationship between the stalker and the victim, the stalker's motivations, the psychological, psychopathological, and social realities of the stalker, and the psychological and social vulnerabilities of the victim. The subject of this episode is 25-year-old Stephen McDaniel, and to gain a deeper understanding of the foregoing components, we have to extract certain elements through the knowledge of hindsight. The evolution of technology over the past 2 decades has made forensic investigations considerably more efficient. 2 of the items on this list can now be examined through a single component, which would otherwise take forensics weeks or even months to conduct in a previous era. And that component is the internet, or more specifically, internet search history. The disclosure of web browser data is often a crucial piece of evidence for building a case, as it can unveil many aspects of a suspect's personality that...
Look at his face. He looks crazy, bro. Like, there's something mental in his eyes there. They've tried to make him look more approachable and, you know, like, decent by tying his hair back. He could have just got rid of the hair, but I think he probably wanted to hold on to it. It's probably like a comfort thing. But with the whole internet history thing, come on, man. If you're going to commit a murder, I'm not trying to, like, encourage murders or help out murderers, but, like... you're leaving stuff on your search history, like how to dispose of a body and fucking shit like that. Why would you do that? That's just dumb, man.
That would otherwise be kept hidden. And this is sometimes far more effective than anything else presented in court, including information extracted during a full confession. Without going into specific detail, a large majority of the subject's time was spent watching porn that surrounded the theme of violence and torture.
Okay, so I'm just going to say something about porn, yeah? I'm going to talk about porn for a minute, yeah? I'm going to get a bit political here, so I'm sorry, guys, bear with me, yeah? But I'm going to be honest, this is my channel, yeah? So, okay, this is going to offend a lot of people, but one, pornography should be illegal, in my opinion, because either prostitution should be legal as well as pornography. They both should be legal, or they both should be illegal, one or the other. Because if a woman has sex for money with a guy in like, you know, like around their house or whatever, or in a car, like, let's say that's illegal, yeah, like, but let's forget the outside part, because that definitely makes it illegal. Say you pay a prostitute to have sex with her in your house, that's illegal. But you can pay a woman, yeah, I'm not going to call them prostitutes because I'll get backlash, a female actor, so to speak, to have sex on camera and then broadcast it to the world. Suddenly it's okay. But that's worse. You're filming it and broadcasting it to the world, and then that's legal, but prostitution isn't. Do you see where I'm going with that? And also with the whole porn thing, porn is so dangerous, yeah? I try my best to stay away from porn. I'll be honest, every now and then I will look at porn, but like I try and stay away from it completely, because it's like so addictive. It rewires your brain. It can be as addictive as like hard drugs like heroin. People become sex addicts. They become addicted to fapping, yeah? And as they get desensitized to the material that they are watching, they end up needing deeper and darker and more depraved porn to get off on it, which leads them down to some very, very, very nasty routes, or routes, whatever you guys say in America. And that's probably his porn addiction is probably what ultimately led to his what happened here today.
He would also conduct
not today, but you know,
back-to-back searches of how to commit sexual assault, and would type in several variations of the phrase, "how to molest sleeping girl." To forensics, this is an overt sign of desensitization to sexual activity. Excessive exposure to online pornography can have this effect over time.
Okay.
It can build up a tolerance to the traditional idea of sex. Therefore, the subject may continue a more potent form of stimuli to get the same rush. For Stephen McDaniel, this began with watching abstract material on the internet and eventually led him to planning and then carrying out what he saw on screen. His target was 24-year-old Lauren Giddings.
Oh man, she looks like such a nice lass as well. Like that doesn't look like a fake smile. She looks like she's actually a nice lass. Like I can usually tell from pictures with people's facial expressions like what they're like. I know it sounds big-headed, but I really can. And within 1 minute of meeting someone, I know whether they're all right or not. And from pictures usually I can, and she looks like she's a really, really nice lass, bless her. She's really pretty as well, so I can see why he would target her as his neighbor. But like, you know, like she seems really nice, and from what I can remember of this video, she is nice. Like she entertains Daniel in a friendly way, you know, like and talks to him and that, even though he's obviously a weirdo.
His next-door neighbor of 3 years. And this takes us to item 4 of the forensic checklist. With respect to social vulnerabilities, the victim essentially had none. Lauren was outgoing and extremely popular. She was a well-liked member of her community.
Look how bubbly she looks. You can tell that she lights up a room when she walks into it, and like she gets people into a good social mood. You can tell.
And had a strong social support system. With relation to psychological vulnerabilities, the term perceptual naivety would potentially come to light during a forensic investigation. Stephen had asked her out on a date within 6 months of their acquaintance, which was reportedly only the second time they had ever spoke.
Yeah, that took some balls, you know. Obviously, I hate what he did, and I hate him for doing it. But I'll tell you what, it took some balls to ask her out on a date. He was punching well above his weight there, mate.
Lauren declined, but stated she would like to remain friends, which was only her being courteous and trying to soften the blow of rejection. She would later tell her actual friends that Stephen made her feel extremely uneasy and was uncomfortable to be around. It may have seemed like a non-essential observation at the time, but in hindsight, it appears that her instinctive senses were trying to tell her something. Lauren had told her friends multiple times that she felt someone had been inside her apartment, and she also started getting an eerie vibe when she came back alone, especially late at night.
That's scary, man. Like, you can tell these things. Your brain, even if you're not logically thinking, oh, I didn't put that thing there, or I put that down differently over there. Even if you're not logically going through and thinking it, your brain knows exactly what your flat looked like before you go back into it, your apartment or whatever. There's some scientists who believe that we actually store everything we see. We have memory for everything we see. We just don't have access to that memory like with our rational, logical brain. So you would know, like, through intuition, that someone has been in your place, like, and she obviously knew. Also, there's that weird phenomenon where you can tell when you're being watched. You get a creepy feeling when you're being watched. I don't know how to explain that, other than there must be some sort of metaphysical or spiritual occurrence happening. Because yeah, man, she knew something was going on, and I'm not blaming her at all. Like, but like, I wish to God that she had moved out sooner, or like, you know, done something, put up a camera, or you know, something like that. But you know, you can't blame her, because when you're going through those cues, those psychological cues that are warning you that something's wrong, you end up trying to persuade yourself that you shouldn't listen to that. You're just being paranoid. You're just being silly. When really that fight or flight instinct, natural fear instinct that you have, should be listened to. You should listen to your gut instinct. It's there for a reason. Our subconscious brain is so much more powerful than our rational brain. So like, you should listen to it. When you get that gut feeling, that's your subconscious telling you something that you should listen to. If you haven't read the book The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, I highly recommend you read it, because it talks a lot about this, and stalking, and the fight or flight system, and you know, like the natural intuition we have against predators. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, no, I wish to God that she had moved out. That is such a shame what happened to her.
It was as though she could sense something wasn't right, and she even thought about moving multiple times, but unfortunately never went through with it. The reality was that Stephen McDaniel had stolen a master's key from a security guard and let himself into her apartment and looked around on several occasions. He also started filming her when she would leave and return to her apartment during all hours of the day.
That's so weird.
Had Lauren been in this situation before, or even knew anyone that had, she may have trusted her intuition and unknowingly saved herself from a tragic fate. But that's the key word: trust. She had no proof of the danger she was in, only conviction, which unfortunately wasn't strong enough when it was most needed.
The balls you have to be a peeping tom and stand outside someone's window, like, in case, what if you get caught, like the embarrassment, like the shame. Well, they probably wouldn't feel that, like, I don't know, because they're doing that stuff in the first place. But to stand there and film someone while they don't know you're looking at them is so creepy. And what he's doing is called voyeurism, where basically you enjoy and get off on watching people who are unaware you're watching them, especially when you're doing like intimate things like getting changed or having a shower, or, you know, things like that, or just even just sitting there on your bed by yourself, like doing something. They get off sexually on the voyeurism, and it's very, very weird. Like, he's porn has led him down some very weird routes. I'm not saying he wasn't a nutcase or a basket case before the pornography. He probably was. He just seems like the guy. But, you know, like pornography is a serious thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Stephen McDaniel snuck into Lauren's apartment once more, only this time she was sleeping inside. As he crept into her bedroom, she awoke and immediately panicked once she saw the intruder. McDaniel then pounced on top of her and proceeded to strangle her for roughly 15 minutes. Lauren put up a courageous fight and clawed at her attacker's face and chest, but she was eventually overpowered and died of asphyxiation.
Look, sorry, yeah, but sorry to keep stopping. We're only 4 minutes in and I'm stopping it the whole time. But this whole how to molest a sleeping girl, like, rubbish, yeah, like, how does he think he's gonna get away with that, like, unless she's like drugged up or something like that? He like, of course she's gonna wake up, you flipping melon. Like, did you not plan for that? Have a contingency plan? Like, of course she's gonna wake up. Like, she woke up before you even managed to touch her, mate. Like, what were you doing? Like, you weirdo.
After the murder, Stephen dismembered Lauren's body in the bathtub with a hacksaw.
Man.
He cut his victim into 5 pieces, placed each piece in a trash bag, and then disposed of each of them in separate trash cans around campus.
No.
3 days later, Lauren's concerned friends would arrive at her apartment and let themselves in with a spare key. McDaniel would notice from his window and invited himself inside as he offered to help. All of her belongings were still inside, including her cell phone, driver's license, and passport. A missing persons report was filed that night. A search party commenced the next morning, and police would discover the victim's torso at 9:40 a.m. It was placed in a trash can next to the apartment complex.
I wish they didn't really show that photo. I know you could, the bag's covering it, but knowing what's in it is yeah, disturbing.
The rest of the victim's remains were never recovered. The investigation was then switched from a missing person to murder. Police...
Do you know what? That's actually a pretty smart way to dispose of a body. Like, it's a little bit risky in its own way, but like, if again, I'm not trying to like encourage or advise people to commit murder, but you know, like, if the trash gets taken away and put in a landfill, you know, like, there's the chances of finding that afterwards are like next to nil.
Were never recovered. The investigation was then switched from a missing person to murder. Police canvassed the surrounding area and began conducting interviews with neighbors and classmates, one of whom was Stephen McDaniel. But he was first interviewed by the local news, and at the time was unaware that part of the victim's remains had been discovered.
I don't get how these guys, these psychopaths, they have the gall, they have the absolute balls to get on TV after committing what they did. Like, you know, like that. What sort of person is, one, capable of doing that sort of thing, and then two, getting on the news like straight afterwards? It's almost like they might get some sense of satisfaction or glee out of the idea of them, you know, like rubbing it in people's faces without them knowing, almost.
We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and...
I'm not being funny, yeah, and I hate to take the mick, yeah, but his voice matches his personality and what he's done. He's just got that kind of like creepy murderer voice going on.
And at the time was unaware that part of the victim's remains had been discovered.
we're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know anybody that?
There was a weird little smile he gave there. Like, that was weird.
I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know anybody that? Any enemies she might have had? Somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body.
Had you seen anything there?
Oh, he just went into complete fight or flight mode there. Oh man, absolute shock.
Body.
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Oh, he's got that weird arched back from playing World of Warcraft for 23 hours a day.
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
This is most likely a genuine reaction disguised as another. He is
Yeah.
most likely feeling a sense of fear and shock over the fact a substantial piece of evidence has been discovered. Yet he plays it off as a feeling of sorrow over the loss of his supposed friend.
I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
It's like less. Even though he's trying to play it off as grief, he's more like panting and panicking because he knows that things are gonna start heating up from this point on. If you look, we'll go back. If you look, he's not like he's acting hysterical, but it's not an appropriate type of hysterical for someone innocent who's just found out that the body's there. It's oh no, now I'm in trouble and they might clock onto me.
I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her.
Watch his breathing.
As nice a person as there is.
Panic.
Was she moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. Why would anyone do this?
Oh.
Maybe I could have helped.
They went in, we looked around the place, no sign of a...
That was so fake. Sorry, I've got to go back. I've got to see that again. That was so fake.
Moving out today. Why would anyone do this?
They went in, we looked around the
What a
place.
knobhead.
No sign of a struggle, no sign that anyone had broken in, just nothing.
He was interviewed by police at 11:50 a.m. and offered to help in any way he could, yet came across as fidgety and apprehensive the entire time. There were two highlighted moments of the interview. The first was when Stephen asserted that he was a virgin, saving himself for marriage.
Why is that relevant? Is that him trying to look more innocent and clean and purer and if I'm waiting for the right woman before I get married, I'm not going to commit a crime that all the police know was sexually motivated at the time. So and Stephen is I believe he's studying for the bar, or however you guys say it in America, like he's studying to be a lawyer. So he's fairly smart. You know, he's not completely stupid. I probably won't be interrupting too much anymore because Stephen kind of just doesn't do anything in this interview. He kind of just sits there. Like, I'm sorry to laugh, yeah. I know this is a tragic case, and it's tragic for the family and for the lass herself. But it's just, this interview is so ridiculous.
Second was when the detective discovered scratch marks on his face and stomach, which he asserted were done by himself in his sleep.
That is like what everyone goes to. That's the answer everyone goes to. No one does like yeah, maybe some people do things like that, but like the chances of it coinciding, if that's the right word, with her death is like very, very, very slim or next to nil.
He at that point unknowingly became the prime suspect and was asked if police could search his apartment.
I don't think unknowingly. I love JCS, don't get me wrong, and I know he's much smarter than me, but I don't think unknowingly. I think once he realised they discovered the scratch marks, I think he knew at that point that he was a suspect.
Stephen reluctantly accepted and was then transported back to the complex with 4 other investigators. While searching his apartment, they discovered a collection of swords, guns, toilet rolls, stockpiled provisions as if he was expecting an apocalyptic event, and a mask made out of women's underwear. The most significant discovery, however, was a pack of condoms.
I've got a feeling maybe those underwear were used, and he might have got some from that lass's place. Sorry, I forget her name. I feel really bad for that. Lauren Giddens, that's it. I'm sorry, Lauren and her family. I'm really sorry. And I'm sorry for just having to deal with this case and you having to deal with. I'm just really sorry. So I think maybe he got some of that underwear potentially from Lauren, and he might have had a history of this type of behavior and stolen underwear off of other people, or he just bought some underwear and made a mask out of it. But like, to me, it seems like the kind of thing someone would do with used underwear.
Stephen was asked why he would have such an item in his possession if he was staying celibate before marriage, at which point he miraculously confessed to stealing them from another apartment. This gave the detectives probable cause for arrest, and Stephen was placed in handcuffs and brought back to the police station. His interrogation began just after 11 p.m.
They're going to start off trying to build a rapport with him, but Stephen doesn't take the bite.
All right. I just got to ask you a few.
Take the bait, I mean, sorry.
Questions. You came down earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right. You don't have any weapons on you, do you? No. That's just
you can tell he's getting close to Stephen, like.
What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking earlier tonight, right?
Okay, so he's not even trying to build rapport. Like, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. Like, he's coming in aggressive straight away. He comes in, scoots up. First of all, he sits in a chair closest to Daniel. Then he rolls it right over to him. And then he gives him a command, an instruction to put his hands on the table. And he's talking, his head is leant towards Daniel. He is being very aggressive in his posture. I think he realizes that there's no chance of building a rapport with him at this point. Because they've already spoken to him, like, not extensively, but at least on a cursory level.
Yes. You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
When we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay.
The monotone dialogue and lifeless demeanor you see here reportedly started on the drive back to the police station, and the suspect's conduct throughout the entire procedure is not only mystifying, but almost impressive. This is one of the most extraordinary pieces of interrogation footage to ever reach the public domain.
It's so weird. I'm sorry, I'll be eating while I'm like doing this video. Like, I'm so unprofessional. I eat, I vape, I burp, I fart. Like, I just do these all in one take, and then I just edit out the cuss words. But yeah, I'm gonna be eating because I'm an unprofessional YouTuber. I'm sorry, guys. I've only got 800 and something subscribers, so give me a break.
About this girl right here, you know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddens.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Bollocks.
You friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay?
Whoa, that was like some Exorcist chisel then. You see that? That was like crazy, bro.
Friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay?
Whoa, that was crazy. That was like a snake or a flipping Komodo dragon looking up and noticing you.
The suspect has morphed himself into this abnormal and extremely creepy character. Whether it's a strategy or some sort of mental breakdown is unclear. But what's incredible is that it somewhat dictates the pace of the interrogation. The detective has just closed the distance and commanded eye contact, both of which are recognized techniques to increase psychological pressure. Yet the absurdly haunting manner in which the suspect turns his head and fixes his gaze unnerves the detective to the
It's like The Exorcist.
point where he becomes the one to look away and reset his posture. This essentially never happens in interrogations, as it can give the suspect an incredible boost in confidence.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay.
Whoa.
Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all are law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Civil? Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
The detective
God help America if he become an attorney.
To criminal law?
Yes.
Civil? Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
The detective steps back from his initially aggressive strategy. He asks trivial questions for 35 seconds before attempting to ramp up the pressure in a more subtle manner.
And you've lived next to Lauren for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where she's at tonight?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Have you ever seen her with that dress on?
No.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
He was obviously we know he did it, but when he knew the question was coming, but like if he knows where she was at, yeah, so he answers it very quickly because he knows it's coming.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
Yes. Look, just tell me what happened, brother.
I don't know.
Well, where's she at? I'm asking you for your help. I'm a detective, and I'm asking you for your help. Can you help me?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You can't help a friend out?
I don't know what you need.
I need to know where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
Do you even care?
He genuinely doesn't know where she's at now. Like I mean, like half of her is in a rubbish dump somewhere. And then he doesn't know where they took the torso, so he genuinely doesn't know where she is.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
What did they say?
Know what you need.
I need to know where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
Do you even care that no one can find her?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
Wow, he's got an unfixing gaze. If that's the right expression. The detective is freaked out by him.
Underwear that was in your apartment. It was like a mask. It was cut out like a mask. You cut underwear out to look like a mask?
No.
What is it doing there
A
then?
knife collector or a knife person, or
No.
you just like knives?
I used to collect swords.
I mean, do you know your swords?
Yes.
I mean, to sell and trade swords?
No.
Is that how Lauren looked with the long hair the last time you seen her?
I'm not going to be interjecting much for the rest of the video because Stephen doesn't offer much. He just sits there like a statue and says yes, no, yes, no. Like that's all that happens in the rest of the interview. Like so, yeah, you're lucky. You don't have to listen to my voice as much anymore.
Yes.
Or that's how she looks.
Yes.
I mean, earlier today, me and you sit here and talk normal. What's going on with you now? Why are you acting like this? I need to know.
Because he knows he's the #1 prime suspect now.
Why all of a sudden you're acting like this?
I don't understand.
Okay. Earlier today, we sat here and talked. But now you're acting like you don't know what's going on. something happen or something to you? I mean, why are you not?
It's so unnatural how he's like staring at the detective and not looking away at all. Some people think that like when people look away or their eyes divert away from you when you're talking to them, it's a sign of deception, but it's not. People naturally move their eyes to one direction to recall information and another direction to generate information. So it's natural for people to look away for brief periods when they're talking to people, or maybe even look at something in the room, or you know, like the fact that he's staring at him unwaveringly is not only unsettling, but it's like it's a sign that he's definitely guilty.
Why are you shutting down? Why are you not talking to me?
I don't know.
He's turned into a zombie.
Are you scared?
No.
Yes, he is. He is cacking his pants.
I mean, you're not scared, are you?
No.
Yes, you are, mate.
Stephen's demeanor doesn't waver for the first 20 minutes, so the detective eventually takes a more distinctly aggressive approach. He attacks the subject's character to see if it might coax him out of the act and into defending his dignity.
You got your ass on that fucking news and stood out there and gave a media report that her mother saw about her missing daughter.
That is horrendous that that her family had to watch that. Well, to go through this at all, but to watch the killer live on TV. I bet they knew after watching that report that he had something to do with it. And the police obviously suspected him after that because they got him in for an interview. Like, so, like, you know, well, they might have got him in for an interview anyway because he's a neighbor. But you know, like, I think as soon as they saw the scratches, they were like, "This is the guy." And you know, like, I think at that moment Stephen knew he was screwed too, and that's why he's gone into this sort of catatonic, zombified state.
And you want me to sit there and tell him that you don't know? Is that what you want me to tell him? Because you're all over the news. You sure stood out there and ran your mouth to the news media, but now you're going to get out here and you don't fucking know. You know, you're just a sorry piece of shit that don't give a fuck.
And this detective is based.
Right?
No.
Well, why'd you tell the media everything? Do you need to see what you told the media today?
Yes.
It was on the 11 o'clock news. Well, I'm asking you. Tell me. I want to know.
I don't know where she is.
That ain't what you told the media. You didn't stand in front of that camera and say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I need you to tell me what you want me to tell her mother. And then I won't ask you another thing. I'm not going to tell her mother that you don't know, because her mother saw you on the news tonight. And she cried all the way down to Macon. Because you had the balls to get on the news and tell everybody everything. So this little act that you're doing right now ain't working with me. Okay? So you can just snap out of it and tell me what the hell happened, so we can move on.
I don't know.
Well, how many times you gonna say I don't know?
So I do wonder if part of the reason he's so catatonic is because he is absolutely cacking his pants and he knows he's been caught for it. So I think it's either a mixture between him wanting to stay he's not even trying to look innocent at this point. He's just trying to not say anything that's incriminating. Like, I don't know, like, it's just such a weird, bizarre interrogation.
How many times you gonna say it? If you did something that you regret, you need to let me know.
I didn't.
Well, who did?
I don't know.
Whether it was planned or not, the second detective enters the room with a similar strategy of immediate aggression. Rapport development seems to have been collectively thrown by the wayside.
Yeah, I think because they wouldn't, they knew they wouldn't have gotten anywhere. They would have just been wasting their time if they tried to do that.
What's up, buddy? Did you talk to him about his guns?
Yeah.
When was the last time you shot those guns?
I haven't.
You've never shot a gun?
No.
Have you ever shot any gun in your whole life?
No.
Never.
No.
So you bought 3 guns that you've never shot.
Yes.
Why?
To have.
For what?
To have.
For what? I'm asking for what?
So they're I think they're asking questions that aren't entirely irrelevant. They're not entirely relevant or entirely irrelevant. They could hold some you know, like useful information in them. But I think at this point, because he's catatonic, they're just trying to get him to break out of that state by offending him, asking him questions, putting him on in the hot seat, like putting the spotlight on him. They're trying to get him to crack, basically.
Why do you want to have them? What did they give you? I mean, tell me why it's important to you to have 3 guns.
Because he believes in the zombie apocalypse.
That's it.
Which I think is actually possible. As a side note, like I think that like something like day after what's the movie called? 28 Days Later, that's it. Not Day After Tomorrow. That's a good movie though. But I think zombies like in 28 Days Later where there's some sort of rage virus. I think that's possible, man. Because I mean, like, look at rabies with dogs. That can make them aggressive. So, you know, I believe zombie apocalypse is possible. And I think Steven obviously does too.
Easy question. Come on, talk to me, buddy. Me and you talked all day today. We ain't had a problem communicating. Why is it important for you to have 3 guns? Do you not know?
No.
You say you don't know where Lauren is, right?
Right.
You told me earlier you and Lauren were friends, right?
Yes.
How would you describe y'all's relationship?
She was my friend.
She was your friend. What did you ever do things for her? Did she ever do things for you? What did she ever do for you?
Be a nice, courteous person.
We talked.
What y'all talk about?
News.
The news?
I don't believe that.
Okay. How many times have you been in her apartment with her hanging out?
I don't know.
None. I highly doubt she would let him in her apartment.
You don't know? If you had to guess, what was I mean, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, what?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2? See, if I had only been somewhere twice, I could remember that. If I had been there over 50 times and you asked me how many times I've been, like, I don't know, a lot. But the fact that you've only been there twice, when I say how many times you've been there, you say you don't know, that's just odd to me. Does that make sense to you?
I love the accent of the detective. Like, you don't know? Like, I love it, man. Like, I love American accents.
Yes.
That does make sense. So what I'm saying right now makes sense.
No.
And later he's like, Steven. Like, there's a whole meme in the true crime community. It's like, Steven. Again, I'm sorry for like being humorous in this topic. It's not funny. It's just so bizarre. Like, I don't know how to rationalize what's going on. Look how still he's sitting. Like, he is just he's just turned into a flipping robot.
Oh, missing. This pretty little girl right here, your neighbor. Missing.
Much like Detective 1, Detective 2 now valiantly moves in for the psychological charge.
I love like how Kazumi just said valiantly moves in, because you'd say valiant for like a jet fighter for being so brave and, you know, like risking their life and whatever, or a soldier being valiant, like, and he's implying that it's a valiant, brave act just to get near this weirdo. I love Kazumi, man.
Detective 1 Detective 2 now valiantly moves in for the psychological charge. He closes the distance and locks eye contact. His physical demeanor, alongside a prolonged gaze, will hopefully crack the suspect's fortified barrier. Once broken, the momentum will commence and the suspect will be more likely to divulge incriminating information.
I mean, like, I don't think they're expecting this to happen, but they're trying, and you've got to try, ain't you?
Momentum will commence and the suspect will be more likely to divulge incriminating information. All the detective has to do is maintain eye contact for longer than his adversary. It's a psychological battle of attrition between two opposing forces, and these moments can sometimes last for minutes on end.
A battle of attrition. If you don't know what a battle of attrition is, it's like, for instance, like in World War One, where they were just throwing soldiers after soldiers into the death machine, and it was basically a battle to see who could throw the most soldiers at the other team, and win the war just by, you know, like basically it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why I tried to explain it, but like it's like throwing, whoever throws the most soldiers and can lose the most soldiers wins. So like it's like a battle, like they're like facing off with each other, and like, yeah, whoever runs out of the most mental stamina loses. Like in a war of attrition, whoever runs out of the most soldiers loses. Like it's yeah, no, it's very interesting.
I know.
Me and you both know it's no different than when you was a little kid, right?
Kid.
And you reached in that cookie jar and you got caught after your mama told you not to get that cookie.
Cookie.
Did you get a cookie? No. And whenever you tell a lie, you feel bad about it right then. One, with every lie, there's a chance you're going to get caught.
Gonna get caught. I love the
that
accent.
weighs on you. Because you know you did something bad.
Steven.
Am I right?
I didn't do it.
You didn't take the cookie?
Oh, the fact that he said, I didn't do it, instead of, an innocent person would say, I didn't do anything. Like, he said, I didn't do it, as if he knew what it was, like what actually happened to her. Like, he knew what happened. That is very suspicious. Like, because they haven't even directly accused him and said, you killed Lauren, didn't you? Like, so his use of language is inappropriate. I think he's psychologically being broke down. The detectives are doing a good job at zapping his psychological energy, so to speak.
You smell like you've been cleaning up, like you've been using cleaner to clean up. I know what that smells like. My wife smells like that all the time when she cleans the house. You've been using some kind of cleaner to clean up your apartment, hadn't you?
No.
Steven, you telling me you live like a man? How does your apartment get cleaned?
Steven.
I cleaned it.
When was the last time you cleaned it, Steven?
I don't remember.
That sounds like me.
Was it this week?
No.
You mean you go a whole week without cleaning?
Yes.
Why? That's horrible, Steven.
Steven.
I don't know how else to say it, Steven. Let me tell you what I think. I think that she was a friend of yours. Look at her right here. I think that she
The way he slowly moves his head.
She was a friend of yours. And I think something happened, Steven. You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
No.
Yes, you did.
Well, how y'all doing?
We're just talking. See that pretty girl right there?
Yes.
You telling me you looked at a pretty girl like that and you never once thought, ever, man, she looks good. You never thought that?
I don't understand.
What are you going on about?
What do you mean you don't understand? You know how when you're sitting there you see a girl walking down the road? And you say, man, that girl looks good. You ever see a good looking girl down the road, you think to yourself, man, that girl looks good?
Yes.
You never thought that about her?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me you look at porn on the internet and get off to that, but you never looked at her and said, man, I wonder what it'd be like to have sex with her?
Yes.
You have?
No.
Oh my word. Oh dear.
Stephen, this is hard, buddy. I know this is hard.
Whoa, oh, you can see the reaction from Stephen, and he hates physical contact. It's not just because of the circumstances of, you know, the detective purposely putting pressure on Stephen to make him crack, like by closing in the proximity and the physical touch. Like, it's not just that. Like, I think Stephen actually genuinely detests physical contact. He does not seem like a huggy, comfortable, comfy, sort of cuddly person to me, mate. He's got that World of Warcraft demeanor, if you get what I'm saying. And don't get me wrong, I play World of Warcraft sometimes, yeah. So don't attack me in the comments, please. I'm not trying to like slate all WoW players, like, you know, like. But watch when he touches him, he has the most severe reaction he has in this entire interview. Like you never see him get animated until he gets touched.
Stephen, this is hard, buddy.
Watch his head.
This is hard.
That wasn't look. That weren't just from the detective putting a bit of pressure on him. That's what it initially looked like. But his head, he really did not like that. I might zoom in when I'm editing the video.
This is hard, buddy. I know this is hard, and I can tell it's on you. You want to let it go. There's blood in your apartment, Stephen. You didn't get it all up.
This is the widely recognized futility technique, which is used to make the subject believe it is useless to resist due to the overwhelming evidence against them. It's most effective when the interrogator can play on doubts that already exist in the subject's mind. The only problem here is that Stephen didn't dismember Lauren inside his apartment. It all happened in Lauren's apartment, so the detective's bluff is already called at this point.
Sorry, Kazumi, I'm just going to have to say, he might still be worried that there's blood in his apartment, because when he dismembered Lauren's body, he could have had trace amounts of blood on his clothes or on his person that did end up somewhere in his house. So he might actually be worried at this point. Well, he's worried anyway at this point, but you know, I don't usually disagree with Kazumi, because he and I know he's a much smarter guy than I am. Yeah, so sorry, bro. I feel bad watching your video and disagreeing with you. I've done that twice in this video. I don't think I've ever done that in any other video before. But yeah, no, I think he is genuinely scared that they have found some trace amounts of blood in his apartment. And earlier, what was it that I disagreed with earlier? I can't remember.
It didn't all come off. You scrubbed and you wiped. But we can tell that. Don't you watch CSI? Yeah, we know it.
I've got to say, programs like CSI are pretty dangerous, really, because they could help, like, inadvertently help killers get away with murders. Like, you know, like, I've thought about that a lot. It's quite interesting. It makes me wonder how many people have got away with murders because of the programs CSI. Stephen!
Why is there blood in your bathroom?
The detective now completely shifts his strategy from confrontational and aggressive to sympathetic and understanding. He attempts to create a connection and then afford Stephen a more socially acceptable reason for the crime. This is extremely difficult to pull off after a direct confrontation, as there is no established rapport nor trust. The usual routine is the exact opposite. You would first build rapport and then get aggressive once a connection has been attained.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell it. I wanted to be here with you to go through that process, because I know you're not a monster, man. I know you're not a bad guy. You're just a hard-working student trying to pass a bar exam at you. You ain't got a lot of support from your family, do you?
Yes.
You do?
The strategy fails at the first hurdle. Stephen immediately shuts down the afforded sympathy and reasoning behind the alleged crime, which was the concept of unsupportive parents. But the detective now attempts to roll with it.
A lot of people can't say that. And the fact that you do have support from your family should make things easier, because your family wants to feel like they've raised somebody that tells the truth and is honest, right?
Yes.
Did you hurt that girl, Stephen?
No.
Have you ever hurt anyone, Stephen?
No.
You've never hurt anyone.
No.
I've hurt people, Stephen. I've made mistakes in my life. That's not even normal to say you've never hurt anybody.
I imagine the only people he's hurt are his clan members on WoW.
Sometimes people get mad. They say things they don't mean to say. It hurts. You never kicked a dog or a cat?
The lead detective then asks non-confrontational questions for almost 30 minutes, which is most likely to see if it will change the suspect's demeanor and the manner in which he responds.
Oh, I'll tell you what, can you imagine how tiring it would be having to interrogate this guy? Like, it would be so frustrating.
But it doesn't. Stephen maintains the same lifeless disposition which he has now kept up for almost 90 minutes.
You know what's crazy? I was talking to people that he works with and everything. They talk about how he's always expresses himself.
But he don't know.
He's very talkative. Stephen, they say you're so talkative, buddy, that you're always so friendly. You stop in and say hello, and you talk. Why is it that you're acting so short with us tonight? If you have all this character and personality about you, why is it that everything that we get from you is yes, no, or I don't know?
I don't know.
No.
Knew it.
Why are you acting like this, Stephen? You see how I'm able to talk in complete sentences? Like we're having a conversation, but the only thing you're bringing to the table is a yes, no, or I don't know. Stephen, did you hurt that girl?
No.
Would you tell me if you did?
Yes.
Have you lied to me at all in this interview?
No.
Yes, you have, Stephen. When was the last time you did laundry?
A few weeks ago.
You ain't washed clothes in a few weeks?
That sounds like me too.
Yeah.
Why?
I have a lot of clothes.
No, you don't. That's another lie. You don't have a lot of clothes.
Yes, I do.
Nope. You got enough underwear to last you 3 weeks?
Yes.
Do you wear the same pair of underwear more than one day?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's still clean enough to wear.
I blame my bipolar disorder, but that's a cop-out.
Where's that little girl, Stephen?
I don't know.
Stephen, you know. You're going to look at this right here, this little girl right here, and you're going to say you don't know? I know you know.
Oh, look how he slowly moved his head over. Oh, that's so confrontational. That was scary, bro.
And you're going to say you don't know? I know you know.
Oh, like a predator.
Yes, you know. What are you going to say tomorrow when I say we got your hair? What are you going to say to me then? Because you know, like I go like that. Look at my hair. That's how easy it falls out. Look at all that on your head. You don't think nothing fell out? It did.
It
As
did.
we know, Stephen went inside Lauren's apartment with her friends 3 days after she was already deceased. This would give reason for his DNA being found at the scene.
That's
and
smart.
would essentially nullify its use as damnatory evidence.
That's smart.
Stephen, being a law student, would be well aware of this.
We just wanted to give you an opportunity to tell it. So you didn't look like a monster at the end. Because you know what? I don't believe that you're a monster, Stephen. I believe that you're a good guy. You've been picked on. Girls didn't show you the respect that you deserved. You did something stupid. And I believe you feel bad about it. And that's why you're all freaked out right now. But I'm giving you the opportunity to get right. I'm giving you an opportunity to show everybody you're not a monster. That you feel bad about what happened. Your hair's there, man.
Stephen.
Your hair is there. That's right, buddy. See that? Look at it. See how easy? See this stuff right here, your hair? Yeah, it fell out of your head when you was moving the body, Stephen. That's right. You remember moving the body?
No.
Yes, you do, Stephen. Why, man? Why? Tell me, bud.
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did, Stephen. We want you to tell it so that way people understand you're not a monster. Things just, you got out of control. It's a sickness.
It is. He's got a sickness. I'm sure his porn addiction led to this. You know, I'm certain of it.
Why'd you do it, Stephen?
I didn't do it.
Stephen! Why are you
Stephen.
going to keep telling that? You hurt that girl.
No, I
Yes, you did, Stephen. You heard her, man. She was screaming. Screaming, Stephen. Why? And I know you feel bad about it. I can see it in your face. What came over you, man? What happened, Stephen?
I don't know.
Bollocks.
I know you don't know. You couldn't control it, could you?
I didn't do it.
Stephen! They steal your hair and take it over there? They didn't, did they? That's right. It's all sinking in right now. He knows, is what you're thinking. Stephen, I don't want it to be a game between me and you. I know it hurts, and I know you're not an awful person and you want to tell it. Your hair was there, Stephen. We've all known it all along.
I have to admit, the detective is doing a good job at trying. He's trying, man. Like, you got to give him credit. Like, he is trying his absolute best. It's just Stephen's, like, obviously, like, educated in law. And also, he's just a freak, man. But, like, he's trying his best.
We wanted just to give you an opportunity to tell what happened. Did y'all have sex?
No.
He wishes.
Did you try to have sex?
No.
Think about having sex?
No.
Liar.
Bullshit.
What kind of man doesn't think about having sex? You said earlier you like girls, right?
Yes.
You said she's a pretty girl, right?
Yes.
What'd you do to her, Stephen?
I didn't do anything.
You're lying. You hurt that girl.
No, I didn't.
Sure it did, and that's why you're having this massive meltdown right now.
The detective quite literally repeats the phrase, "You hurt that girl," to which Stephen responds, "No, I didn't." And this goes on for the best part of 20 minutes.
Wow.
Perhaps the detective's strategy was to induce mental exhaustion, yet it had no effect whatsoever.
Why did you hurt that girl?
I didn't.
Why did you hurt her, Stephen?
I didn't.
You hurt her, Stephen.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
You take this from me. You don't deserve to look at it. Just stay right here, okay?
Yeah, he knows that, like, there's no point leaving the photo because he doesn't feel guilty about what he did. So there's just absolutely no point in leaving the photograph there.
I appreciate all your cooperation tonight, okay?
What cooperation? Oh, this is exhausting, bro.
Alright, we're getting ready to go. I just need to discuss a few more things with you.
The lead detective now abandons the pursuit of any sort of admission. He instead proceeds to belittle and humiliate the suspect as much as possible. It may have a tactical purpose, but it's more likely out of frustration, alongside the fact he is certain of the suspect's culpability.
I know earlier today you told me you stayed home all weekend, right? In your apartment.
Yes.
Did anybody see you? Did you talk to anybody over the weekend? Were you on your computer all weekend? Is there anything I can look at that I can say he couldn't be involved because he was on the computer, or he was online on a porn site, or he was online doing college work, or anything that would exclude you as being involved altogether? I mean, did anybody see you this weekend at the house? Did you go out to get a newspaper? Did you wave to a neighbor, or you just locked yourself in all week?
Yes.
Nobody saw you?
No.
I mean, what do you just stay in the house all day?
Yes.
I mean, what do you do all day in the house? I mean, you've always done that your whole life? You don't have no friends?
I have
How can you go your whole life without a friend?
I have friends.
Where they at?
I was about to say he has no friends, but then I thought he probably is a part of a WoW guild or something like that. He probably does have friends online that he plays online games with, Like, but I doubt he's got any real actual friends. And that's not me trying to poke fun at him. It's just a general observation. I just don't see him as having any true friends. Just people who entertain him and put up with him, and like Lauren did, like just be nice to him because they're nice people. But like, he's not. From what I can tell, he's not a very affable or gregarious or likable person.
Where they at? You have any friends here in Macon?
Yes.
Name one, because everybody I talked to said they ain't your friend.
Ryan Granger, Cass Lawson, Ashley Morehouse, Carmen Love.
That's the same people I talked to today, and they're not your friend.
Unlucky.
Okay.
One of the reasons interrogations are so fascinating is the ethical vacuum it creates for everyone inside its bubble. In any other circumstance, the detective's behavior here would be considered cruel and reprehensible. He's essentially bullying the suspect, yet the empathy we would normally have is now stripped away through the impression of retribution. We know this person has done something horrific, and the treatment he is now receiving is merited through his own actions.
They're not your friend. It's all over anyways. I just want to know what was going on tonight. The game's over. I mean, we know what you did to her, so we just want to know what if you were going to tell us or not.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's what you say. But we know different. So, you're fucked either way. You're fucked. We already know. We know you killed her. We know you put her body in the trash can. The news media knows it.
That's so disrespectful as well, like putting the body. I know it's like a good way, so to speak, way of getting rid of the body, but there's something symbolic there about like putting the remains of someone in the trash, like they're nothing, like they're worthless, and it's just disgusting, bro.
Glenda knows it, your mother. Your sister knows it. Your sister's husband knows it. The one that used to beat your sister. He knows it. You know what he said? He said he's a crazy motherfucker, is what he said.
I believe that as well.
That's your own family calling you crazy. Nobody wants to see you. Nobody's coming to visit you. So you can sit there with that dumb look on your face. But it's over.
He's gonna be in protected custody for the rest of his life, probably. Like, he's got nothing, mate. He probably thought he had nothing to begin with, but now he really is doomed, man. Does he even break character when they go out the room?
The entire interrogation took over 2 hours. When sped up by 20,000%, you truly get a glimpse of how remarkable the suspect's catatonic performance was.
Look at that. He looks like he's moving at a different speed than the detective, because he's that still. Well, that's mental, bro. That was a really good idea, doing what JCS just done, like speeding it up and having a look. That's just crazy. He really doesn't like being touched, like he hates being touched.
His mother came to speak with him soon after this moment, and although he maintained his innocence, he immediately snapped out of the zombie-like character. It's difficult to interpret the reasoning behind the performance, whether it was a pre-planned strategy, improvised in the moment, or some type of psychological breakdown is unclear. But
it could have been a psychological breakdown, or at least partly.
Whatever it was, it evidently seemed to work, as the interrogators got nothing. The suspect's behavior was so abnormal, they were essentially at a loss with what to do, or where to even start with a specific plan of attack. The evidence, however, was irrefutable. Hundreds of pictures of Lauren were discovered on Stephen's flash drive, along with multiple video recordings of inside her apartment. A hacksaw was found in a supply closet of the apartment complex, and it was marked red with what was later identified as Lauren's blood through
Why didn't he throw that away with the trash? I hate to say that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Lauren Giddens family. I meant throw it in the trash, not with the trash. Like, I'm not saying that her torso was trash. I'm so sorry. It's just I don't understand why he didn't throw the weapon or well, not weapon, but the tool away.
Apartment complex, and it was marked red with what was later identified as Lauren's blood through DNA testing. The packaging for the exact same hacksaw was found in Stephen's apartment. When confronted with the evidence,
he's not very smart, is he?
He took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty and was rendered a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He is currently being held at the high-security Hancock State Prison in Sparta, Georgia.
Unlucky. Unlucky. I mean, you know, like, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry to Lauren Giddens' family. That is tragic. I feel bad putting a call to action at the end of this video, but if you like the video, check out my other videos, check out my shorts, check out my music videos, check out my other content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.